Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's Ask the Expert, Capital Hearing Clinic joining us. 3 clinics here in the Ottawa area. Eric McEwen is here joining us, the owner of all 3 clinics. Now, you spend a lot of time in the industry, not just as owner of hearing clinics.
Right.
You've been involved in hearing aid manufacturing and so on and so forth, right?
Yeah, well, 16 years is when I started. I worked in a couple of clinics here in Ottawa, a couple of audiology clinics, but then I went to work for a hearing aid manufacturer, and I had to talk about technology. So I covered from Belleville to Newfoundland, and I had to go into every audiology clinic in every hospital, every private clinic, and talk about new technology and what was going on in the industry. So it was a great exposure for me to see how things go on in different provinces and to meet various professionals across the country.
Right, and you get a handle on what the technology is all about, because the technology has advanced great strides.
Oh, you have to be right on top of it, absolutely.
Margaret's on the telephone. We have our first telephone question. Margaret's on the telephone from Luskville. Hi, Margaret. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good. What's your question for Eric this morning?
I have ringing in my left ear. I had it for about a month.
Constantly?
Yes.
Whoa.
Hi, Margaret. Did you go to see like a loud concert, or did you go through something very loud about a month ago?
I started my tractor in a Future Steel building.
Oh, you started your tractor. Wow. Okay. Sometimes what happens, one of our main clinics is right by Scotiabank Place, and we'll often get people coming in after a rock concert the day after, a couple days after.
Yeah.
They have ringing in their ears.
You can expect that, right?
Well, the audiologist will usually tell them that's a warning signal. Your ears are telling you that that was not a very good thing to do.
Okay.
So we hope in the case of the rock concert, because it had a very short duration, that the ringing is just going to go away. We do have people, however, that do have the ringing and it just never goes away. So it's called...
Really?
It's called tinnitus or tinnitus, however you want to pronounce
it.
Right. So we do suggest please have your hearing tested. We may refer you on to an ear, nose and throat doctor just to double check. And then we can figure out what's going on with your ears.
That for it to last a month, there might be an issue, right?
It might be an issue. You never know. It might go away in a couple of months. Let's hope. But if not, we definitely want to have you in to see the doctor and see what might help.
And have somebody else start that tractor for you, Margaret. That's what we should do. Michael is on the phone. Hi, Michael.
Hi.
How are you doing today?
Not bad. You?
Good, good. You have a question for Eric?
Yeah, I was just wondering if you guys could confirm or deny the existence of the mosquito ringtone.
The mosquito ringtone.
Yeah.
What is there? Eric, explain the mosquito ringtone to me, will you please?
It's actually fascinating. Now, you're referring to it as a ringtone. Where I've heard about it is they're using it in certain parts in England where they're trying to disperse youth from busy corners. So they have this little mosquito alarm system that emits a tone that only young people can hear. So it's in a high frequency range, and what's happening is it doesn't bother anybody else who's walking in the streets, but the kids can't stand it.
Because we don't hear young people anymore.
That's right. So then the kids disperse.
Right.
So they've been using it with some success over in Europe. I haven't heard of any North American applications yet. There may very well be, but that's the idea behind the mosquito tone.
Okay. And is it a fact? Is it a fiction?
It's fact.
It really works, eh?
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah.
Maybe we ought to acquire that around here.
I'm thinking we may see it more and more.
Isn't that interesting that the younger ear picks up certain frequencies and not the adult ear?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder how they found that.
It's somebody who's very smart.
Yeah, no doubt.
Yes.
Lisa is on Facebook. She has this question for you, Eric. My husband worked as a truck driver for 18 years. His hearing is going. He's been to a hearing doctor, and he says it's not bad enough for a hearing aid, but in the meantime, myself and the kids have to go deaf with the TV so loud.
Yeah.
Can he go somewhere else and have his hearing tested? So he's been to a hearing doctor, she says.
Right. He should have it tested every year if he's already got some hearing loss.
Yeah.
As a truck driver, so part of what we're worried about is exposure to loud sounds. That's a given, right? So if it's something like a gunshot, it's really fast and it can damage your hearing. But if you're driving a truck, you're sitting in a metal box for hours upon hours at a time. It's almost like working in a mine sometimes and how loud it can get. And it's that exposure over time that can really start giving you problems.
It may not be the loudest of noises on a single occasion, but a constant humming of the tires or the sound of
More so for him because he's in a big metal box,
Yeah.
right? And so it does get noisy in there. So what happens is you'll tend, as I was showing you the little cochlea,
Yeah.
in there you'll tend to start losing only the high-pitched sounds.
Yeah.
That always goes first.
Right.
So if we look at the chart here, right, everything to the left-hand side represents low tones or bass tones.
Right.
Everything on the right is high-pitched sounds. So when we look at normal hearing, it would be anything from here and above. So that's the range at which we hear regularly. Anything lower than that, so this is like a standard hearing test. If we test your hearing at 4,000 hertz, which is a high frequency, and we have to turn the volume up, 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 and you actually hear it here, well, that's telling me very quickly you're missing the sounds F, S, T, H, K, T. But if your hearing is normal, you're hearing everything else normally. So if I take a word like port or fort,
Yeah.
you hear O-R-T, or the very bassy
And then you got to
sounds.
figure out what the rest is.
But you've missed that first
Gotcha,
consonant.
gotcha.
So that's a slight hearing loss that her husband might be going through.
We've got several more phone calls, as a matter of fact, on
Great.
hold, so we'll take a quick break and be back with our final installment of Ask the Expert today with Capital Hearing Clinic. There's how you get in touch with Eric and his staff. Hazeldean Road in Canada, where one of the 3 clinics are. CapitalHearing.ca is the website that you can check out. More questions coming up on Ask the Expert. We'll be right back.
I may be falling for you, dropping so quickly.